Something came up.
Do not lie to me!
I don't know what you want me to
You were running. That's what I want you to say. That's what I want you to admit.
Love is one of the most beautiful things God ever created. The ability to love and to be loved by others. But when it comes to choosing a life partner, this is where most women find it very difficult. This isn't because there aren't good men, but it is because it has become increasingly very difficult to pick between the good and the bad. To make matters worse, women are often told to make sure that they choose someone who is kind, caring, and will make a good husband. However, what they are not often taught are the types of men to avoid. Here are 7 types of men you should avoid when searching for a husband. Number 1, the player. He's charming, good-looking, and knows exactly how to sweep you off your feet. But beware, the player is also a master manipulator. He's not really interested in you. He's interested in the challenge of winning you over. Once he's got you, he'll move on to the next conquest. He's not looking for anything serious. He's just out for a good time. This is the guy who is always looking for the next best thing. He is never content with what he has, and he will always be on the lookout for something better. The player typically does this because he thinks too much about himself. To him, every woman is an object, and he sees them as commodities rather than actual humans worth loving. If you have ever been with a man who seems to find other women attractive, then you might just have found yourself in a relationship that wouldn't last long. Number 2, the commitment phobe. He's everything you want in a man, except for one thing: he's terrified of commitment. If you're looking for a long-term relationship, the commitment phobe is not the man for you. He's happy to date you, but don't expect him to ever want to settle down. He'll make excuses, he'll stall, and he'll find any reason to back out of a relationship. He's never been in a serious relationship, and he's not looking to change that. He is a flake and a runner, and you will always be chasing after him. He is comfortable spending time with you, but doesn't want anything that ties you both together. He sees commitment as a trap. Men with commitment issues generally avoid any subject of marriage. They want to keep you to themselves, but don't want to do what it takes to officially keep you. Another name for such a type of man is a time waster. He wouldn't commit to you, and neither would he allow you to move on. They'll string you along for years, making you think he's finally ready to settle down. But then he backs out at the last minute. They leave you always wondering what direction your relationship is heading to. As a woman, you must understand that one of your most valuable assets is your time. Never give more time to a man who has already wasted a great deal of it already. You must understand that the time you waste in a wrong relationship is the time you probably would have been with the right person. Number 3, the mama's boy. The mama's boy is a man who is too emotionally dependent on his mother. He's a great guy, but his mother is his number 1 priority. He's too attached to his mother and can't make decisions without her approval. This type of man is still a child at heart. Not only is he emotionally dependent on his mother, but he also expects the woman he is to marry to be like his mother. He might have the best wife in the world, but he will not take a word of advice from her without his mom's final approval. A marriage in which a man cannot make a clear distinction between his mother's place and his wife will eventually come to an end. In some cases, a mama's boy might do this because his mother is somewhat emotionally manipulative. He feels he owes his mother a lifetime of emotional support, and so he is unwilling to take a bold step toward becoming a man. But that doesn't mean you should walk into a relationship in which you will have to pay the price. There is a good reason why God said, "A man must leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife." Number 4, the control freak. This type of man is all about control. He always wants to control every aspect of your life. From the phone calls you make to the family members you meet. If he doesn't get his way, he makes a drama out of it. This man doesn't control you because he wants to make the relationship better, but he controls it because it makes him feel good. He feels what makes him a man is when he has a woman subjected to him. The problem with controlling men is, controlling men only grow worse over time. Being with a controlling man is like living in a den with lions. You can't predict what might happen next. It is like handing over your life at the mercy of the devil. Marrying such a man is as good as writing away your happiness. You might think to yourself, I will just leave after. But remember, it is not always that easy leaving a controlling man. If you're looking for a husband, never risk your future happiness with a controlling man. Number 5. The narcissist. If you're ever considering marrying a man, one of the core types of men you should never settle down for is a narcissist. The word narcissistic simply means self-centered. A narcissistic person is always looking out for number one and expects everyone around them to be just like them. They have a very high sense of self-importance and are not concerned with anyone else's feelings. They feel the world is just about them. Most narcissists deal with an underlying issue of low self-esteem. In other words, the only way they make themselves feel better is to make you bow down to their control. This can be seen when you decide to keep a distance from them. Narcissists are often very difficult to deal with. They can be selfish, manipulative, and demanding. Oftentimes, they will try to control their partner by making them feel inferior or belittling them. They will often set traps for you to fall in, then make you feel guilty when you don't meet those standards. If you're ever dealing with a narcissistic person, it's important to stay calm and rational. Most importantly, set boundaries and stand up for yourself. You don't need to agree with them or try to please them. Simply stick to your own beliefs and values and don't let them control you. Remember, you are not a part of their reality, and you can leave at any time. Number 6. The cheater. When it comes to cheating, this is certainly a trait no woman should ignore. Cheating, or unfaithfulness as it's commonly called, is usually deeper than what can be seen on the surface. A serial cheater has no intention of being faithful to you, neither now nor in the nearest future. Getting married to him will not instantly change him overnight. As a woman, you should never think you are too strong to handle a man's unfaithfulness. Many men show their weak sides to help serve as a warning sign to you in advance. The purpose of a marriage is to live a happy life, and not spend a great deal of it trying to put a man straight. Also remember, being married to an adulterous man equally makes you face the consequences of an adulterous woman. You might think you aren't in it, but you will have to deal with all the garbage he brings into your home. From lying about his whereabouts to explaining why he gave a total stranger a ride. This doesn't mean an unfaithful man isn't capable of changing, but if he will not change before you tie the knots, he will not change after you tie the knots. Number 7. The irresponsible man. He's the one who can't seem to take control of his life. He has little to no vision. He's always borrowing money from friends and family and never seems to be able to pay it back. His lack of responsibility will often lead to you making family decisions. While he may be fun to be around, he's not someone you want to spend the rest of your life with. Every woman wants to ideally be with someone who is supportive and has a backbone mentality. If you marry an irresponsible man, be prepared to do most of the work by yourself. Be prepared to be a teacher. Be prepared to always be a leader rather than a helper. Before choosing a man to settle down with, it is important to consider the fact that your future children and generation will be involved. You may never want someone who will be a negative example to you and your children. You only have enough energy for each day. Each of these types of men brings their own set of problems into a relationship that can be difficult, if not impossible, to overcome. If you are considering marrying any of these types of men, you should think carefully about whether or not you are prepared to deal with the challenges that come with them. Thank you for watching. If you love our videos, please feel free to subscribe to our channel.